Each one of us is created with a purpose. It is not by chance that you are here, and it is not by accident that you have gone through the experiences you have. When God marks you as his own, one of the most profound signs is the revelation of a divine purpose for your life. It's not something you stumble upon by mere coincidence. Instead, it is something that becomes clearer as you align yourself with his will and his ways. Purpose is the reason why something exists. A chair has a purpose, a light bulb has a purpose, and so do you. You were not created to drift aimlessly through life. When God chooses you, he embeds within you a specific reason for being, a calling that cannot be replicated by anyone else. It's a path uniquely tailored to who you are, to the gifts he has placed inside you, and to the circumstances you have allowed you to experience. This purpose is the key to unlocking your potential and understanding your significance. But here's the thing. Divine purpose is not always immediately clear. In fact, it is often discovered in stages. God doesn't reveal the entire blueprint of your life all at once because he wants you to walk by faith, not by sight. It starts with a nudge, a passion, a desire, or a recurring thought that refuses to leave your mind. You may notice that you are drawn to certain problems in the world or feel compelled to address specific needs. That's not a random feeling. That's the beginning of God whispering his purpose into your spirit. You see, when God marks you, he places within you a sense of restlessness that refuses to settle for mediocrity. This restlessness is not meant to frustrate you. It's meant to propel you. It's the divine spark that drives you to seek more, to become more, and to do more. It's the reason why you might feel uncomfortable in certain environments that no longer align with where God is taking you. He's shifting you, stretching you, and positioning you for the fulfillment of your purpose. Many people assume that purpose is about personal ambition or achievement. But when you're marked by God, purpose is never just about you. It is always tied to his greater plan. God doesn't give you a purpose so you can shine in isolation. He gives it to you so that your life can be a reflection of his glory and an instrument for his kingdom. Your purpose will always benefit others. It might be through leadership, service, creativity, or innovation. But in some way, it will contribute to the world in a meaningful way. It's also important to understand that your purpose is often revealed through the very challenges you face. God uses your pain, your failures, and even your disappointments to prepare you for your destiny. Joseph was marked by God, but he had to go through betrayal, slavery, and imprisonment before stepping into his purpose of leadership. Those seasons of preparation are necessary, because purpose requires character. God is more concerned about who you are becoming than what you are achieving. He wants you to grow into the person who can carry the weight of the calling he has placed on your life. If you're listening today and wondering what your purpose is, I want to encourage you. You already have it. It's not something you have to create. It's something you have to uncover. And you uncover it by seeking God, obeying his voice, and trusting his process. Every step of your journey, every closed door, every open one, and every moment in between is orchestrated to lead you toward the purpose he has for you. When you embrace your divine purpose, life takes on a new level of meaning. You wake up each day not just existing, but living intentionally. And when you walk in alignment with God's purpose, you experience a sense of fulfillment that nothing else in this world can offer. Because when you know why you were created, you stop wasting time on things that don't matter, and you start focusing on the things that do. Trials and challenges are not a sign of abandonment. They are often the clearest evidence that God is working in your life. When you are marked by God, the road ahead will not always be smooth, but it will always be purposeful. God never wastes a moment of pain, and he never allows a struggle without a reason. Every challenge, every setback, every closed door, it's all part of his divine process of preparation. It's important to recognize that these tests are not meant to destroy you. They are meant to refine you and equip you for the purpose he has called you to fulfill. When you are chosen by God, challenges are inevitable because the enemy does not attack what does not threaten him. If you are going through adversity, it is often because your destiny is significant. The devil knows that if he can distract, discourage, or derail you, he can keep you from stepping into the fullness of God's plan for your life. But here's the good news. God is always one step ahead. What the enemy intends for evil, God will always turn for your good. The very thing that seems like an obstacle can become the stepping stone to your destiny. Consider this. Every great person chosen by God in the Bible faced challenges. Joseph was thrown into a pit and sold into slavery. David was hunted by Saul before becoming king. Esther had to risk her life to save her people. Even Jesus himself faced rejection, betrayal, and the cross. These challenges were not a sign that they were outside of God's will. They were a confirmation that they were walking in it. Being chosen by God doesn't mean you are exempt from difficulties. It means you are equipped to overcome them. The process of refining is not easy, but it is necessary. Gold cannot be purified without fire, and diamonds are not formed without pressure. In the same way, your trials are shaping you into the person God needs you to be for the calling he has placed on your life. It is through challenges that we develop character, perseverance, and faith. These qualities are not just desirable, they are essential for the fulfillment of purpose. God is not just interested in what you do. He is interested in who you become. And who you are is often shaped in the fire of adversity. One of the most profound aspects of challenges is that they force us to rely on God. When everything is going smoothly, it's easy to think we have it all under control. But when life gets difficult, we are reminded of our need for his strength, his wisdom, and his guidance. Trials drive us to our knees in prayer. And it is in those moments of vulnerability that we often experience the most profound encounters with God. He meets us in our weakness and gives us the grace to keep going. But here's something else to remember. Your challenges are not just for you. When you overcome, your story becomes a testimony that inspires and encourages others. Your journey through the storm is someone else's roadmap to hope. God often uses the very areas where we have struggled the most to make the greatest impact. Your scars are not a sign of defeat. They are a sign of survival and victory through God's power. If you are going through a difficult season right now, I want to encourage you to shift your perspective. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Start asking, what is God teaching me through this? Trust that he is working behind the scenes, orchestrating everything for your good and his glory. The challenges you face are not the end of the story. They are simply a chapter in the greater narrative God is writing for your life. And when the story is complete, you will see that every trial had a purpose. Every struggle was worth it. And every tear was part of the preparation for the destiny that awaits you. When God chooses you, one of the most undeniable signs is the deep connection you feel to his presence. It's not just about religion, rituals, or routines. It's a personal, intimate relationship with the Creator. A connection that transcends understanding and cannot be shaken by external circumstances. When you are marked by God, his presence becomes your refuge, your strength, and your guide. It's as though your spirit is constantly drawn back to him, even in the busiest moments of life. This connection manifests in a hunger for more of Him. You'll notice a growing desire to pray, to read His Word, and to worship. It's not out of obligation or fear, but out of love. There's a longing in your heart to know Him more deeply and to hear His voice more clearly. And as you draw closer to Him, you begin to sense His presence in ways you never imagined. It's in the quiet moments when you feel His peace, in the storms when you sense His comfort, and in the uncertainties when you hear His still small voice guiding you forward. But let me tell you, this connection is not something you earn, it's something you nurture. God is always with you, but the depth of your awareness of His presence depends on your willingness to seek Him. He promised, if you seek me, you will find me when you search for me with all your heart. That's not a casual pursuit, it's intentional. It requires setting aside time to be in His presence, to listen, and to align your heart with His. When you are marked by God, this connection becomes your lifeline. It's where you find clarity in confusion, strength in weakness, and hope in despair. The world may offer temporary solutions, but nothing compares to the sustaining power of God's presence. It fills the voids that nothing else can fill and satisfies the deepest longings of the soul. It's the place where you can be fully known and fully loved, where you can bring your fears, your failures, and your questions without fear of rejection. But let me warn you, this connection will set you apart. People may not understand why you spend so much time in prayer or why you prioritize your relationship with God above all else. They may see it as strange or unnecessary, but when you are chosen by God, His presence becomes your priority. You realize that without Him, you can do nothing. It's not optional, it's essential. As you nurture this connection, you'll also begin to notice how it changes you. You start to see the world differently through His eyes. You develop a heart for people, a burden for the broken, and a passion for His kingdom. His presence doesn't just comfort you, it transforms you. It aligns your desires with His will and your plans with His purpose. It's in His presence that you discover who you really are and what you were created to do. But perhaps the most beautiful aspect of this connection is the peace it brings. Even when the world around you is chaotic, His presence becomes your anchor. It's the assurance that no matter what happens, you are never alone. He is with you, guiding you, protecting you, and preparing you for what lies ahead. This peace is not the absence of trouble, but the confidence that God is in control and that His plans for you are good. When God chooses you, He doesn't just set you apart. He also sets you on a path of purpose. And one of the most compelling signs of being chosen by Him is the undeniable evidence of divine favor in your life. Favor is not something you can earn, and it's not something you can manufacture. It is a gift from God, a reflection of His grace, and a sign that His hand is upon you. Favor opens doors that no one else can open and grants opportunities that no one else can explain. It is an invisible force that works in your life, making the impossible possible and the improbable achievable. But divine favor isn't always flashy or dramatic. Sometimes it's found in the quiet assurance that God is orchestrating things behind the scenes. It shows up in the little details that fall into place and the way things align in your favor when they shouldn't. You might not even realize it at first, but when you look back, you'll see His fingerprints all over your journey. Favor doesn't mean life will be free of challenges. It means God's power will sustain you through them. It means His provision will meet your needs. His wisdom will guide your decisions. And His peace will guard your heart. Divine favor also has a way of drawing people to you. It creates opportunities for connections and partnerships that are critical to fulfilling your purpose. When you walk in favor, people often recognize something different about you, even if they can't quite put their finger on it. It's not about charisma or personality. It's about the presence of God in your life. Favor makes you stand out, not because of who you are, but because of who He is in you. It's not about what you can do. It's about what He is doing through you. However, favor is not just for your benefit. It's important to understand that when God grants you favor, it's because He has a purpose for you to fulfill. Favor is a tool, not a trophy. It is given to you so that you can accomplish what He has called you to do. It might mean influencing others in your workplace, serving as a mentor, or stepping into leadership roles you never expected. Whatever form it takes, favor is always tied to responsibility. God blesses you so that you can be a blessing. He positions you for influence so that you can impact the lives of others for His glory. But with favor also comes opposition. Not everyone will celebrate what God is doing in your life. Favor can provoke envy, misunderstanding, and even resistance. People may question why you've been given certain opportunities, or why doors seem to open for you when they remain closed for others. But don't let that discourage you. Favor is not about fairness by human standards. It's about God's purpose. When you face opposition, let it remind you that God's favor on your life is a sign of His calling. Stay focused on Him and trust that He will handle the rest. Living in favor requires faithfulness. It's not just about receiving the blessings, it's about stewarding them well. God expects you to use the opportunities, resources, and influence He gives you to further His kingdom and bring glory to His name. Favor isn't a license for complacency. It's a call to action. It's a reminder that you have been chosen for a reason, and that your life has significance far beyond what you can imagine. When God chooses you, your life is never just about you. One of the most significant signs that you are marked by Him is the way your faith and actions impact others. God doesn't bless you so you can hoard His blessings. He blesses you so you can be a blessing. He works through you to reach others, to bring hope and to make His love tangible in the world. When you are chosen by God, your life becomes a vessel for His purposes, a light that shines into the lives of those around you. You notice that people are drawn to something different about you. It's not because you're better than anyone else, but because God's presence in your life sets you apart. There's a grace, a peace, and a joy that flows from someone who is walking in alignment with their purpose. You may not always realize it, but your words, your actions, and even the way you carry yourself can inspire and encourage others. This is why it's so important to live intentionally, knowing that your life is a testimony. Your impact often begins with the small things. It's in the way you treat people, the kindness you show, and the love you extend even to those who may not deserve it. It's in the way you handle challenges with faith instead of fear, with hope instead of despair. People are watching, and sometimes your response to adversity can speak louder than any sermon ever could. When they see you standing firm in your faith, trusting God even in the midst of uncertainty, it gives them the courage to do the same. But it's not just about what you do, it's also about who you are. God's chosen people carry a spirit of humility and service. They don't seek to be elevated, they seek to elevate others. They understand that true greatness is not found in titles or accolades, but in serving and uplifting those around them. Jesus Himself said, "The greatest among you will be your servants." When you are marked by God, you live with an awareness that your life is meant to make a difference. Sometimes the impact of your life is visible and immediate. You might see how your words encourage someone or how your actions provide relief to those in need. Other times the impact is hidden, and you may never fully know the extent of the lives you've touched. But rest assured, nothing you do in obedience to God is ever wasted. Whether it's a smile, a prayer, or an act of generosity, every seed you plant has the potential to grow into something far greater than you can imagine. Being chosen by God also means that you are entrusted with influence. It doesn't matter if your influence is in your family, your workplace, your community, or on a global scale. What matters is how you use it. Influence is a responsibility, and God expects you to steward it well. When you are marked by Him, your life is meant to reflect His love, His truth, and His grace. You become a living example of what it means to walk in His purpose and to trust in His plan. This is why it's so important to stay connected to God. Your ability to impact others is not rooted in your own strength or abilities. It comes from the overflow of His presence in your life. The more you seek Him, the more His light shines through you. The more you align yourself with His will, the more effective you become in fulfilling the role He has called you to play. When you are chosen by God, one of the most extraordinary signs is the way doors of opportunity open in your life that you could never have orchestrated on your own. These moments are not just coincidences or random occurrences. They are divine appointments. Specific opportunities designed by God to propel you forward into your purpose. They come at the right time, in the right way, and they align so perfectly that you know without a doubt they are from Him. These doors are evidence that God's favor is on your life, guiding you to where you need to be. But here's what we must understand. When God opens a door, it often requires courage and faith to walk through it. Opportunities from God may not always look like what we expect. Sometimes they come wrapped in challenges or require us to step outside of our comfort zones. They may demand that we leave behind what is familiar to embrace the unknown. That's because divine opportunities are rarely about convenience. They are about obedience. God uses these doors not just to bless you, but to grow you, to stretch you, and to prepare you for what's ahead. What's even more incredible is that God's opportunities often come when we feel the least prepared. You may think, I'm not qualified or I'm not ready, but God doesn't call the equipped. He equips the called. He will never open a door for you without giving you the strength, the wisdom, and the resources to step through it. All He asks is that you trust Him and take the first step. Remember, faith is not about having all the answers. It's about trusting the one who does. Sometimes the doors God opens are opportunities to serve others, to be a voice of encouragement, or to bring about change in your sphere of influence. Other times they are doors that lead to personal growth, new relationships, or platforms where you can use your gift for His glory. Whatever form they take, these doors are not just about what you gain. They're about what you give. They are a chance to align your life more fully with His will and to make an impact that goes beyond yourself. But let's be clear, not every door is from God. When you are marked by Him, discernment becomes crucial. Just because an opportunity looks good doesn't mean it's from Him. The enemy is also skilled at presenting counterfeit doors that can distract or derail you. That's why it's so important to seek God's guidance in prayer and to listen for His voice. He will never lead you through a door that compromises your values, contradicts His word, or pulls you away from His presence. Trust Him to show you which doors to walk through and which to let go. Another thing to remember is that some doors may require patience. God's timing is perfect, and sometimes He keeps a door closed until you are ready to handle what's on the other side. It can be frustrating to wait, but His delays are never denials. They are preparations. What you perceive as a setback may actually be a setup for something greater than you imagined. Trust that He knows what He's doing, and stay faithful where you are while you wait for the door to open. When you step through a God-given door, it changes everything. You find yourself in places you never thought you'd be, doing things you never thought you could do. But more importantly, you see His hand in every step, guiding you, protecting you, and using you for His glory. These moments are reminders that His plans for you are far greater than anything you could plan for yourself. So, when God opens a door, don't hesitate. Walk through it with confidence, knowing that He has gone ahead of you to prepare the way. And as you walk in obedience, you will discover that each door leads to a deeper understanding of His purpose for your life and a greater impact on the world around you. Because when God chooses you, He doesn't just call you, He leads you step by step into the extraordinary destiny He has designed just for you.